So Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce, has defied his boss. He's countered his boss, and he says Epstein was the greatest blackmailer ever and essentially has dirt on a lot of powerful people. Howard Lutnick appeared on Pod Force One. This just was released a couple of days ago, and this is what he had to say.
The guy's gross. This was not, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick. This guy's gross.
Right. So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
no, they participated.
Right.
That's what his MO was, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever. Blackmailed people. That's how he had money. So
what happened to those videos? Why is there now such a dearth of information when, Donald Trump's people are running the FBI and the DOJ?
I assume way back when they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence, which allowed him to have visits and be out of jail. I mean, he's a serial sex offender. How could he get 18 months and be able to go to his office during the day and have visitors and stuff? It must have been a trade. So my assumption, I have no knowledge, but my assumption is there was a trade for the videos because there were people on those videos.
So you mean it wasn't a big Democrat hoax? You mean there's actually people blackmailed, compromised, perhaps high-level people in our own government, perhaps Donald Trump himself, perhaps Bill Clinton, perhaps, the list could be extremely long. Is that what you're saying, Howard Lutnick? You mean you're defying your boss? You're going against what he just recently told us? In fact, you were standing right next to him when Donald Trump went on to say, it's just a big hoax. It's a giant hoax. Nothing to see here.
Gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation.
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats.
It's a hoax. It's a hoax, he says. Howard Lutnick standing right next to him in that video. There he is. And now Howard is saying, actually, Epstein was the greatest blackmailer ever, and he had compromising videos of people, which is how he was able to get such a sweetheart deal. And but nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. So one big question that a lot of people are having is whether or not this government shutdown that we're in the middle of, which, by the way, government shutdowns, talk about a hoax. You know that government shutdowns didn't even begin until 1980. That was the very first government shutdown. How was it that the country went 200 years without a government shutdown? Because it's a hoax, because it's not necessary. It's just a political tool. Well, many are speculating that Congress, in fact, Speaker Mike Johnson, is using this political tool conveniently to shield the Epstein files. He did it this summer when he released everybody a day early, right when they were about to. There was a measure that was gaining steam that would force the release of the Epstein files. What did Speaker Mike Johnson do? He said, everybody go home a day early. Everybody go home a day early. Obviously meant to block the release of the Epstein files, protecting this predator, protecting the powerful people who are caught on tape potentially by this predator. And now we have a government shutdown. Now, Republicans have been lying about what the government shutdown is. It's not that Democrats don't lie also, but certainly it is not about healthcare for illegal aliens. That's just not at all what this is about. They don't qualify for healthcare. The Democrats say that they're shutting down the government for ACA credits. But Republicans are kind of making up this whole thing about it's about undocumented immigrants getting healthcare. But that isn't real. It is just a talking point. They know that Americans are dumb enough to believe it. And even if, you could make some sort of an argument that the ACA credits that Democrats are arguing for would somehow leak over and help undocumented illegal immigrants, maybe you could make that case. But by and large, Republicans are covering for something. And remember, they're in charge of everything right now. So why are we even having a shutdown? They have the White House and they have both chambers of Congress. So what in the world is going on? Well, what's going on is that there's a new member of Congress. Her name is Adelita Grijalda. except she hasn't been sworn in yet. She was just elected September 23rd, Democrat out of Arizona, and she has sworn that when she is sworn in to Congress, that she will be basically the tipping vote that would force the release of the Epstein files. And the government's shut down. Oh, isn't that just unfortunate? I guess we can't vote on those Epstein files when the government's shut down, and it'll be shut down indefinitely because Trump has said, don't even bother talking to Democrats. That's what he's told Republicans. Don't even bother. Let them continue shutting down the government, blame it on the Democrats, when in reality we all know that it's actually Republicans who run everything, and so they're the ones who are actually shutting down the government, but we're led to believe it's Democrats who don't control any of the chambers, nor do they control the White House, but it's their fault somehow. Or is this just another ploy to cover up the Epstein files? Don't release the Epstein files. Do anything that it takes to prevent the release of the Epstein files. And the latest member of Congress, once sworn in, and once the measure is actually taken to the floor, those Epstein files will be released. Something that the vast majority of Americans want. Americans want the Epstein files. But the administration is blocking the Epstein files and telling us that it is a hoax perpetrated by Democrats. When, interestingly, the main person implicated, some of the main people implicated are from the left. I mean, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Bill Gates. I mean, these are people that are from the left. And yet it's somehow a Democrat hoax. No one's buying that. Not a single person. We want the Epstein files. That's what was promised. That's what Trump ran on. That's what J.D. Vance said he was going to do. And that's what Kash Patel said. Kash Patel even said that the Epstein files were sitting on the FBI director's desk. Well, now he's the FBI director. So why don't we have the Epstein files? So how long will they keep the government shut down? How willing are they to protect Epstein's abusers? How willing are they to do that? His co-conspirators, the people he's blackmailed, the people that might be in very high levels of government now and making decisions on behalf of a foreign country because there's blackmail against them. And where did that blackmail end up? Howard Lutnick says, well, somebody got the tapes, right? Maybe that's how he negotiated a deal. You mean maybe like a foreign intelligence organization that might have gotten the tapes and went to Alex Acosta and said, give him a sweetheart deal because he's part of the intelligence apparatus, which the CIA would have been involved in because, let's face it, is the CIA run by Mossad? Kind of feels like it. So who has the tapes? Now, I don't think we're ever going to see those tapes. I think those tapes are in the hands of intelligence agencies and we're never going to see them. I don't think there's particularly a list, one that is, did Epstein keep a list of, in a diary, all the people I blackmailed? We already know many of the people, the victims have spoken up, but any evidence, we should see any and all of the evidence. Anything that has been investigated, any questions, any reports, anything that has been written up that gives us even a little bit more insight into who the perpetrators might be. You might want to call them victims yourself. You might want to say, well, they were blackmailed, they're kind of victims, except they, got themselves into the position to be blackmailed. But are we ever going to see these files? Are the Republicans, as Donald Trump and his administration, willing to shut down the government endlessly in order to protect Epstein and his deep state intel blackmail operation that is now blackmailing an entire nation? We are an entire nation under blackmail. And the President of the United States, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, which is, Congress is supposed to be an equal branch of government that's supposed to challenge the power of the president. Yet here they are in cahoots, covering everything up. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.